People often believe that life's biggest miracles arrive loudly, announced by applause or dramatic moments. But sometimes, the moments that change everything begin quietly, almost invisibly, like a soft question asked by someone who expects rejection. That afternoon, in a crowded city bus station, filled with the noise of engines, footsteps, and tired faces, a single dad's ordinary day turned into something unforgettable. When a one-legged girl gathered the courage to ask a simple question, the answer she received would leave not only her in tears, but everyone who witnessed it changed forever. Before the story goes any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small human moments to change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The man's name was Aaron, though no one at the station knew it. To them, he was just another exhausted father sitting on a worn metal bench, holding a paper cup of cheap coffee, watching the arrival board flicker with delays. His shoulders were heavy not just from long work hours, but from years of responsibility he carried alone. He was a single dad to an 8-year-old boy, and every decision he made revolved around survival, stability, and keeping promises he was afraid of breaking. Life had not been gentle with him. His wife had passed away unexpectedly years earlier, leaving him with grief he never had time to process. Bills, night shifts, school lunches, and sleepless nights replaced morning. He learned to move forward because standing still was not an option. That day, Aaron had taken his son to a medical appointment in the city, and now they were waiting for a late bus home. His son slept with his head resting against Aaron's arm, trusting and unaware of the weight his father carried. Aaron scanned the station without really seeing it, his thoughts tangled between worries about money, his child's future, and the quiet fear that he was never doing enough. Across the station, the girl stood still, leaning on a pair of worn crutches. She was young, maybe 12 or 13, with eyes far older than her years. One of her legs was gone below the knee, replaced by a prosthetic that didn't quite fit right. Her backpack hung loosely from one shoulder, clearly heavier than it should have been. People passed her constantly, some glancing briefly before looking away, others pretending not to notice her struggle to balance. She had learned long ago that asking for help often came with embarrassment, pity, or outright refusal. She had been standing for nearly 30 minutes. Her arms trembled slightly from supporting her weight, and the dull ache in her back reminded her that she couldn't hold on much longer. She scanned the benches, searching not for comfort, but for safety. Many seats were occupied, yet one caught her attention. It was the seat beside Aaron. Something about him felt different. He looked tired, yes, but not impatient. Worn, but not hardened. It took everything she had to move toward him. Each step felt like a test of courage. When she finally stopped beside the bench, her heart pounded louder than the buses outside. She feared rejection more than pain. She feared being invisible even more. When she asked if she could sit there, her voice was barely audible, fragile but hopeful. Aaron looked up, startled. In that brief moment, he saw more than a girl asking for space. He saw fear, exhaustion, and a familiar loneliness that mirrored his own. He noticed the way her hands clenched the crutches, the slight shake in her posture, and the way her eyes were already bracing for disappointment. Without hesitation, Aaron shifted his sleeping son gently onto his other side and stood up. He didn't just make room. He gave her the entire seat. He placed his coffee on the floor, steadied his child, and gestured calmly, as if this was the most natural thing in the world. There was no sigh, no look of annoyance, no sense of sacrifice, only quiet respect. The girl froze. She hadn't expected that. She had hoped for half a bench, maybe a reluctant nod. Instead, she was being offered dignity. As she sat down, The tension she had been holding inside broke. Tears filled her eyes, not because of sadness, but because someone had finally seen her as worthy without question. Aaron noticed her tears, but didn't comment. He understood that some kindness didn't need words. He simply stood there, adjusting his grip on his son, bearing the discomfort without complaint. A few people nearby began to notice. Whispers spread. Some looked ashamed, others inspired. One woman wiped her eyes quietly. A man across the station gave up his seat for an elderly couple. Kindness, once visible, has a way of multiplying. The girl eventually wiped her face and breathed deeply. For the first time that day, she felt safe. She wasn't being stared at as a problem or a burden. She was just a kid resting her legs like anyone else. In her short life, she had learned to accept less than she deserved. This moment challenged that belief. As time passed, Aaron's legs began to ache, but he didn't move. His son stirred slightly but didn't wake. Aaron felt something unfamiliar warm his chest. For years, he had believed he had nothing left to give beyond survival. Yet here he was, offering something simple and powerful without even realizing it. In helping her, he felt closer to the man he used to be before life hardened him. When the bus finally arrived, chaos filled the station. People rushed forward, pushing and shoving. Aaron stepped aside, allowing the girl to board first. He lifted his son carefully, making sure she had space and stability. She turned back once, her eyes meeting his, full of gratitude that words could never carry. They boarded separate buses going in different directions, but something had shifted inside both of them. The girl carried the memory of being chosen, of being valued without explanation. Aaron carried the reminder that even in his exhaustion, he still had the power to change someone's world. That night, as Aaron tucked his son into bed, he thought about the girl. He wondered where she was going, what battles she fought silently, and whether she would remember that moment as he would. His son, half asleep, wrapped his arms around Aaron's neck and whispered that his dad was a good man. Aaron closed his eyes, feeling tears he had buried for years finally surface. Sometimes the smallest acts become the loudest lessons. A seat offered without being asked. A moment of respect without conditions. A reminder that kindness doesn't require wealth, strength, or perfection, only awareness. Before this story ends, we want to ask you something important. If this moment touched your heart, if it reminded you that humanity still exists in quiet places, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps spread stories that heal and inspire. And just before you go, leave a comment below telling us one small act of kindness you've witnessed or experienced. Your story might be the hope someone else needs today. Because sometimes, all it takes to change a life is the courage to ask and the compassion to answer.